Hey guys, it's time to start building our dreams. So today we've got for you the M12 Fuel driven out to outperform 55 foot-pound 3/8 ratchet from Milwaukee, and this is model number 2557-20. Now I just got done doing a project with this. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. It has a safety lock here so you don't accidentally bump the trigger. You slide it up. It's got the little light on it so you can see your project. You can rotate your head just like a normal ratchet. So let's compare that. This is an old Craftsman air ratchet. And the good thing about the air ratchet is it's up to 35 foot-pounds of torque. It'll fit almost anywhere. And then when you compare it side by side, move the box out of the way, it is almost the same dimensions as the Milwaukee. The head on the Milwaukee is a little bit thicker. The shaft is a little bit thicker. This can get into some tight places. But I'll tell you what makes all the difference, and you'll see it in the video if you continue watching, is this right here. This Husky 3/8 tool set. This thing's absolutely awesome as well. And it's a good match at a low price, and I got this for about 40 bucks. So let's open this up and I'll show you guys what's inside. So inside this kit, you've got a 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, and 3/4 deep wells. On the metric side, you've got 8mm, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 21mm deep wells over here. And you've got the matching all the way up through 19, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, or standard impact sockets, 3/8 drive. And then you got on the SAE side, you got 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, and 3/4. You also get this 5-inch extension, and you get a 1/2 inch adapter / extension. But the best part of this kit is this universal joint. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with the old chrome universal joints. These impact universal joints are absolutely awesome. So as you watch in the upcoming video with my Toyota Sequoia, which I'm going to do the thermostat swap in, this thing was super handy, especially when you couldn't get the socket on there square. This allows you to hold at a different angle in order to get the best approach to the piece that you're working on to remove that nut or bolt. So at this time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the upcoming video. If you would, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and keep coming back for more. So behind me we've got our 2001 Toyota Sequoia. It's currently up on ramps, that's why it looks so big. But this is really a dependable vehicle. If you're looking for a family-sized vehicle, you've got small kids, or maybe you got 4 kids, and a normal SUV will not work for you. The 2001 to 2007 Sequoias are notoriously known for getting anywhere from 1/4 to 500,000 miles on them. Old Faithful here has 220,000. I've changed the timing belt on it twice myself. I've changed the plugs, I've changed the oil, and I've maintained the brakes, and it's really a pretty straightforward and easy vehicle to work on. There are some minor things like the tailgate latches are prone to break, and a few other bugs. This is mostly just to try out our new tools. I'm going to go in and replace the thermostat. I put a low temperature thermostat in there, which is actually throwing a code. I did that about 3 years ago, so it's about time to do that. And then we've also got the brakes need swapping out, and then we're going to do an oil change. I know I did an oil change on Ruby on the last video, but hope you guys enjoyed that. If you would, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and keep coming back for more, because we are going to test out the new Milwaukee Fuel tool along with other tools we got on Black Friday. Thanks for watching. Bag of the tools I've got. So we've got the Milwaukee impact. We'll use that to take the tires off later. I definitely want to try this right angle impact out. We're going to probably use this more than anything else today, which is the Milwaukee Fuel Ratchet. We've got our thin wall sockets. We may or may not need those. We've got our DeWalt attachments, our Husky 3/8 drive impact bits, and then we've got our Job Smart impact sockets for remove the lug nuts and the bigger stuff with a 1/2-inch drive. For this, we'll mostly use 3/8 drive tools. And the first thing we're going to have to do over here is we're going to have to drain the radiator some. And to do that, we're going to pop open the front hood. So on the Sequoia, you just reach in here, pop the hood. It's got a nice little lift up lever, and the actuators still work. So this engine bay has been attacked twice by squirrels, and the part we're going to have to replace is actually right here. So we'll pop this off just because we got the tools to do it, and then we'll come down here. We'll get into where the coolant is. The hoses all still look good. As you can tell, they're fairly new, 3 years ago. Stock radiator cracked, blue smoke everywhere. So I replaced that, replaced the hoses, replaced the thermostat. Pretty easy, straightforward project. It's a little bit warm. I had it running to drive it up on the ramps. So we're going to take the petcock out of the bottom, and if you look closely down in there, you'll see the blue oil filter from the last time I did an oil change on this. So it's been a little while, and it's definitely due for an oil change. So we're going to go ahead and get started underneath, I guess. So just so you can see what we're going to be doing. We've got this bolt here, and then there's 2 bolts up here. Those are all 12mm to drop the front skid plate off. So we're going to take those off. So for our setup, we've got our Milwaukee ratchet, our universal joint, and we're going to use our 12mm socket. Make sure we're going the right way. Make sure safety's off. Safety's off, and we're going the right way. Oh, baby. There's 1 bolt, and there'll be 2 more in here. Then you just move this out of the way. And I typically just sit that back in the middle. Put your bolts with it. And that is good to go. Good time to take a look at everything. Cool. Alright, so for the petcock here, show you guys where that's located. So right here is your petcock, and that is what lets you drain your radiator. So we're going to grab this bucket. No, I'm not sponsored by AutoZone, but we're going to grab this bucket, and sometimes it takes a little bit of work, but you basically unscrew this, and we washed out our bucket and everything else. We're going to drain as much of this fluid out as we can, and it's probably going to take a little while. We're not going to undo it all the way. So it looks pretty good. Here at the top, we're just going to take the radiator cap off. And we don't have to completely drain it, but what we do want to do is drain most of this out. So it's going to take a little while to drain. We're just going to let it drain. It is still draining down there. It's been draining for about 5-10 minutes, but I want to show you something else. So this is a new stand I got. So if you are, so it's pretty cool because it's got this little boom pole. It's adjustable in height. It will go up to 90 or 79 inches tall. So this is a K&F Concepts. It's got the monopod. It's got the tripod. It's got this. And so I lost the plate that went on my other tripod, so I went ahead and ordered a new one of those. But this one comes with a plate, and actually we're going to slide you guys in there. And the cool thing is I can maneuver this just about any way that I want to. So I can get you guys up high. I can move you guys in, and then I can angle you guys down so you can be right over the top of whatever I'm working on. So we'll pull you back just a little bit because we're on a bit of a slope here. We'll leave that there. So next thing I'm going to do, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. So right here is the thermostat housing. So we're actually going to just play around. We're going to grab some of our smaller sockets. We're going to try out our ratchets some more and take some of those loose. And once again, 10 millimeter is by far the most common size. So we're going to take this band, and this hose loose, just so you guys can get a little bit closer to the action. And that thing's pretty quick. So if you were to be somebody that actually turns wrenches for a living, that definitely increases your ability to work quickly. So if I recall correctly, that comes off the front. There's a few hoses back there. We can probably leave those connected, but we'll just bend this back out of the way, just so you guys get a better view. Now I can still hear there's still fluid in there. And that's probably 12 or 13 millimeter. Let's see what size those are. So that's a 12 millimeter, so we will have to take this hose loose. We're gonna keep letting this drain for a little bit longer. So there's another close-up of that ratchet. And this is the Husky adapter with the Husky deep well. And as you can see, you can get to just about any angle with that. Then you can step it up to 1/2 inch drive, or you can step it down to 1/4 inch drive. So very versatile, still full power, and it just zipped that piece right off. So pretty impressed so far. Guys, so one other thing I want to show you is this is a large drip pan. This is by SureBuilt. I picked this up at AutoZone. I'm that guy that always makes a mess, and I don't necessarily have a new driveway, but you know, if you've got a new driveway or you're doing this in the garage and you don't want to get oil or liquids on the ground, having one of these is pretty nice to make sure you don't make too big of a mess. So we just stuck that underneath the car. You guys can see that down there. And we'll set you guys back up here. I can also pan with this, so definitely a pretty cool tripod. Alright guys, so here we are. We are going to pull this hose loose. So let me get some pliers, take that off. So I don't know if you've ever dealt with hose clamps. I got these at a discount store a long time ago, and as you can see, these are well used. If you ever find a pair of pliers like this, these are just, you know, cheap, made in China. But I tell you what guys, having the leverage of these pliers is so nice, because especially on clips like this, you just grab them, rock them back and forth, and that's how easy it is. You're not messing with a pair of pliers to take and move those clamps. Hopefully there's not a lot of fluid in there still. Hopefully it mostly drained. All right, that's what we wanted to see. All right, we'll just tuck that back out of the way. And you kind of can't really see up underneath there, but you know what? There is a light on this. So we're gonna start at the bottom one. As you can see, and that thing broke it loose. All right, there's one nut down. And yeah, I could probably get the head straight on there without this adapter. We'll try that just to play around with our new ratchet. I mean, it's not that bad. But see, it's kind of hard to get the get that on there. So that's why that universal joint, it's pretty handy, because this is actually in a pretty tight spot. And if you look, there's that's 6 ISO. It's on there. Thing definitely fits. Got my finger pretty good. So watch your fingers when you do this. And that one we may just have to go straight on with it. That's where that 55 foot-pounds of torque comes in, because that was really on there, guys. All right, so that's that part, and all we have to do now, and it looks like somebody used some gasket maker on there, and so we're gonna have to use a little bit of a pry bar. To be honest with you, I don't know who would have put some gasket material on there. But it is on there. It is on there good. There we go. Use a little dead blow hammer, pop that off. And we'll take our little pry bar in here. Alright. Well, maybe I didn't use the RTV. So that's that. You can take a screwdriver or you can take a pry bar, pop this out. There's a little bit of fluid in there, but it's okay. I'm curious. So I don't think this failed. I think it's simply no, it looks like it may have failed because it's not closed. So we will compare this thermostat, and this is a fail-safe thermostat. If you look there, I don't think it's supposed to be open all the time. It's supposed to be closed until it builds up enough pressure, and then it's supposed to open. So that's why our engine's running so cool, I do believe. As you can see on the new one here, the new one is closed. So that one there, you can tell, for whatever reason, it just straight up failed. It opened one time and it never closed back. So this is our new thermostat. Alright guys, so here we put our DeWalt light up. You guys may have seen my other video. And now we got our gasket here. Alright, so we get ready to replace the thermostat. Alright, thermostat goes in. This little jiggly guy goes straight towards the top. And we're going to take and we're going to put our O-ring on here. That just goes around the edge of our thermostat, so you can work that around. Normally I'd be wearing nitrile gloves for this, but I used the last of my nitrile gloves, and therefore, and what this little jiggly thing does is it lets the air bypass the thermostat. So we're going to put that in there. Alright, hold that where it's in the upright position. We're going to put our housing back on. Now I did use RTV before. I don't think it's necessary. It was on there good and tight. So starter nuts on here. That's why you have that pan. So once you get one or two of these on, do the one underneath will be the next hard one. Coming up from the bottom. You want to make sure your thermostat does not come out. Okay, there's that. Grab our nut, fill in our pan. The pan's definitely doing its job down there, keeping it dry. Okay, we're just making sure we don't cross thread anything. Come back here with our ratchet, change it over to where righty tighty lefty loosey. Just run those down snug. Okay, pull that off. We got one more down here in the bottom, underneath, to get to. And we'll just snug it all up by hand just to make sure it's comfortable and we're good with where it's at. So for this, I just grabbed my 3/8 ratchet out of my DeWalt set. Make sure we're going the right way. And these are going to get torqued to good enough. All right, that's good. Stick our hose back on. All right, as you can see, this is actually going pretty quickly. Next thing we're gonna do is put our hose clamp back on. I'll try to clamp it from the other direction so you guys can see. Move that back to where it was. Set it right back in the grooves where it was. And we can let it go. Did a little tug. All right, and go ahead and set our radiator cap back on. Get our tools that we don't need out of the engine bay. Grab our 10mm. So we got our 10mm here. We can now put this back on. So easiest way to do this, put it on the box first. As you can see, one of these breather hoses has a little crack to it, but we'll stick that back on. And if we need to rerun a new vacuum hose, we can do that as well. Stick this back up. This thing's actually got these little rubber tabs to guide those clamps. So if you look here, see, we're going to take our 10mm, and if you recall, there were 3 of these we had to do, and we're just going to do these up snug. They don't have to be super tight. That is good and tight now. Last thing we've got to do, put our hose back on with our clip here. It just goes down in there. Start it by hand. That's good. So that was super easy and super quick to change a thermostat thanks to the Milwaukee Fuel 3/8 drive ratchet. And you can get these in quarter. You can get the high speed version, which is even faster than this, and you can get the 1/2 inch. You can also get the long reach version, but I'm super satisfied with my Milwaukee Fuel Ratchet. On to the next project. So now we got that buttoned up. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we are going to add the coolant we removed back in. So all we do for that is we'll make sure our petcock's closed. Sometimes that petcock will leak. As you can see, we only pulled maybe 2.5–3 gallons of fluid out there. And what we do is we will use a funnel with a filter, wipe it out a little bit, get it cleaned out. But yeah, there's a filter there in the bottom, and that filter will screen out any large material that is up here. And this thing might be a bit of a pain simply because of the height. And the radiator's plastic, this is plastic, but we're just going to take and we're going to pour this back in. Good thing is it's not super heavy. I say that, but let's try not to make a huge mess. It'll actually help if we open up the reservoir for the engine coolant here. That'll help that breathe some. Now all we're doing is we're pushing the air up so it creates a vacuum and pulls it down. I'll burp it down a little bit more. So now what we'll do is we're going to start the engine to get the last little bit of air out of the system. We burp the system by squeezing the hoses here. As you can see, it's full. We're in it. We turn on the heat on the inside, and we've got it up at an angle so any air would come here to the highest point, which is the radiator cap or top bend of that hose. The excess, we ended up taking a lot of that, putting it back in the reservoir, and because it's a closed system, it should cycle through as you drive down the road. You hit bumps and what have you. So that concludes the thermostat swap. So next little piece of maintenance we're going to do is we will do an oil change, and we'll also do some brakes on this. Once again, you guys get to come along for the ride, watch me build my dreams, but the true purpose of this channel is to motivate, inspire, help, and inform you guys and show you that you can do the work yourself through having the right tool and the right skill set to get out there and start building your dreams.